Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I wanted to come on here and do some videos today. As you guys all know, I just posted on Instagram that I'm getting ready to fly out. So I wanted to get these videos shot. People have been wanting me to speak on all the stuff that's been going on over like literally the past 3 days. It's just been sad news after sad news after sad news, okay? So I want to come on here first and talk about the whole Christina Grim situation. Christina Grim was a fellow YouTuber and she was also a contestant on The Voice. She started uploading YouTube videos at the age of 15 and she did like a lot of cover songs like Wrecking Ball for Miley Cyrus. One of her first videos that she ever posted on YouTube was her doing a cover for Hannah Montana. So she amassed a following of over 3 million YouTube subscribers. And then from there, she went on to The Voice. And then you saw her in a lot of pictures with different celebrities. She was well known. She hung with Selena Gomez and Nick Jonas and, you know, just so many people. And what ended up happening is that this past Friday, she invited her fans to come see her at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Florida.
Hey guys, what's up? We're in Orlando today. Please come to the show if you live near Orlando, Florida. We are at the Plaza Live. Please come out. Bye.
After she gave a stunning performance, she did a meet and greet. And while she was there meeting her fans and taking pictures with them, a man comes walking up to her. She attempts to go and hug him. And as she's going to go hug this so-called fan, he ends up pulling out a gun and he ends up shooting her 3 times. At that point in time, her brother Marcus Grim ends up jumping in and jumping the guy who shot his sister. And the guy was able to get away and he eventually killed himself. So this entire situation is just extremely disturbing. I want you guys to go ahead and watch these news clips and I'm gonna come back with the rest of my commentary.
Many unanswered questions tonight into the shooting death of former Voice star Christina Grim in Orlando.
Police say 27-year-old Kevin James Lovelyti traveled from St. Petersburg Friday night to attack the pop star following a concert that Grim performed. Now today at Lovelty's home in St. Petersburg, there was a note posted on the door and it reads in part, "Deepest sorrow for lost to the family, friends and fans of the very talented, loving Christina Grim. No other comments." Well, it may be some time, if ever, before we know why Lovelyti shot and killed Christina Grim, but tonight people who are at that concert now wondering how the shooter got inside with weapons. News Channel 5's Alex Hagan in Orlando with the latest.
A memorial continues to grow outside the Plaza Live here. You can see several people still here sending their thoughts and prayers to the family of the talented pop star. Meanwhile, several witnesses that were here at the scene of the crime last night, they are wondering why someone was able to bring in a handgun and a hunting knife into the venue. A somber mood outside the Plaza Live in Orlando as dozens pay their respects and contribute to this growing memorial outside where Christina Grim was shot and killed.
It was just a senseless death. It didn't need to happen.
Police say Grim was signing autographs following the concert here when this man, 27-year-old Kevin James Lovelyti from St. Petersburg, approached her with 2 handguns and a hunting knife. Low and Me Fortune heard everything.
I think 3 popping sounds.
Officers say Grim's brother tackled Lovelyti. That's when he turned the gun on himself. Detectives say it appears Lovelyti did not know the pop star.
Now as they're going through the suspect's cell phone and computer to see if they could find a motive.
Questions also remain for concert goers on security.
If I were the owner of this establishment, I would not open until measures were taken.
Fortune wonders how 2 handguns and a hunting knife made it through.
I feel very disturbed by the fact that this could have been prevented.
Staff at the Plaza Live did not respond to our questions on security. However, we're told purses, backpacks are checked when guests enter. There are no metal detectors.
Young kids, this isn't a crowd that you would suspect would be carrying guns into a venue like this.
More unanswered questions, but one thing is for sure, a senseless act and a tragic loss.
This is very, very, very unfortunate, very uncalled for.
Now, staff here at the Plaza Live, they did release a statement earlier today saying they are going to suspend any activities or events at the venue, at least for the time being.
Selena Gomez honors the late Christina Grim with an emotional tribute on her revival tour.
I don't really understand how this really happened, but I would like to dedicate this next song to her, that she had faith.
The Good For You singer was performing in Miami on Saturday when she was brought to tears while singing a Hillsong worship cover called Transfiguration. The entire crowd raised their phones and lights in honor of The Voice alum who was fatally shot during a meet and greet after performing in Orlando, Florida Friday night. Later, the crowd sang the chorus with Selena.
All right, so you guys just saw those news clips, and you guys see a lot of celebrities are definitely mourning her death. Even the killer's family, they're not speaking to the media, but they did, show some condolences by putting a sign on the door. So this situation is just really disturbing. One, because she's so talented. She was only 22 years old and she had her whole life in front of her. But another thing that really disturbs me with this situation as well is the fact that she was a fellow YouTuber. And one thing that does not sit well with me with this situation is where the hell was her security? If they knew that she was going to perform at this venue, why were there not metal detectors? Why was everybody not patted down? They're claiming that they assumed that a lot of teenagers would be there because she has a younger fan base. But to me, that doesn't matter. What makes you think that a 15 or 16-year-old can't sneak in a weapon as well? Granted, she was a big star, but she wasn't on the same platform as like a Taylor Swift, a Beyonce, a Kim Kardashian, a Selena Gomez. I felt like if it was one of these type of celebrities, security would have been on point, metal detectors would have been there, police would have been there. But because she's more like a voice contestant, she's more of a YouTuber, it seems like security was a lot more lax, okay? And this is what bothers me with this entire situation. Now, if you guys all know, this past Friday, I was invited by one of my friends to go see the screening of Central Intelligence. This is why I have this ticket here. And I had posted some video on Instagram, basically showing that I was just extremely uncomfortable. We're trying to get through these crowds of people to go get our tickets to go see the premiere. And all of a sudden, Kevin Hart gets off the bus, The Rock gets off the bus, and these folks start going crazy and screaming and pushing. And even one of the paparazzis fell off the chair and he fell onto somebody, okay? And just to see how people's energy shift in a matter of seconds when they see a celebrity, like, it scared me. I just don't like things like that. I don't like being in open crowds. And my boy was almost getting irritated with me and, kind of getting an attitude with me because I didn't feel comfortable. And I had to check him, like, you know what? One, I have anxiety. And two, I don't feel comfortable around a lot of people in huge groups like this who are going crazy for celebrities. And you don't know what might occur. Somebody might have a weapon. Anything could pop off. Nobody was checked. You did not get checked until you went into the theater to go see the screening because, of course, The Rock and Kevin Hart were there. Outside of the venue, and then everybody was out there. You know what I'm saying? There was no security out there. The only security that you saw was around The Rock and Kevin Hart. But there was no security out there for the so-called fans, for the crazies in the audience. That's why I feel like a lot of these venues need to be tighter, especially when you have celebrities involved, because you have a lot of people who are just so starstruck. They just don't think sometimes, and they have the potential to hurt other people or even the celebrities themselves. Sad, we become so desensitized in this country that we don't take mental illness into account. We're more focused on the things that are not super important as opposed to being focused on the things that really matter most. The thing about celebrity and yearning for celebrity is that it comes with a double-edged sword. And I know a lot of people have always asked me to do meet and greets, and why don't you do meet and greets? Why don't you meet with more of your fans? As you guys know, I did a small meetup in New York this past October, and I met with 7 subscribers. Yes, 7. And I had a lot of people mad at me like, okay, why did you only meet with 7? You could have met with 100 people. I would have came down there. And I had to let people know, I don't feel comfortable in large groups. I don't know y'all like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes as YouTubers, some people get blinded by the fact that they have a big following, and they assume that that big following means that all those people love you. Just because you have 3 million followers does not mean that all 3 million of those people have good intentions for you or genuinely love you. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost at 300,000 subscribers, and I would be a fool to think that all 300,000 people, really love me and love what I do. I would say that 95% of the people who subscribe to my channel love me and, they have genuine love and care for me. But then there's also that small 5% who don't like me, and they're only subscribed to see what I'm doing and how they can, do what it is I do, you know what I'm saying, or just to troll and things like that. You should never be so caught up in this thing called fame and YouTube and subscribers and numbers to think that everybody out there just has so much love for you, to the fact where you feel that comfortable where you don't need protection. A lot of people felt this young girl, and it makes me really sad because this might have been able to be prevented, but this young girl, as popular as she was on social media, she should have had top flight security there. Everyone should have been patted down. There should have been metal detectors. There should have been no way for a fan to just be able to come walking up to her like that without security checking that fan out first. You know, if this was Beyonce or anybody else, I couldn't just walk up to Beyonce. Security would stop me dead in my tracks, pat me down, make sure I was good before I could go up and go talk to her. You know, so I felt like, you know, a lot of folks just failed her. And that's why I said at the end of the day, we're human beings, but we have to be smart. You have to know your surroundings. You have to get a vibe for people, you know, and I think this is going to change how a lot of YouTubers do certain things with meet and greets, because you do have a lot of YouTubers who just, you know, they're just walking around oblivious. You know, they just focus on the fame and all the love and, you know, the admiration, but they're not realizing that there's real dangers out there. And I guess for me, I'm different in that fact that maybe because I'm a little bit older, maybe because I'm a parent, but I'm not interested in doing meet and greets. I've been doing YouTube now for over 6 years. I've never done one big mass meet and greet. You know what I'm saying? Just this past October was the first time I met with 7 subscribers. Other than that, if I see subscribers, it's usually them just running into me at the most random places. And that's always cool to chop it up with people randomly. But I would never just be like, oh, I'm about to be at this spot, everybody show up. That's not how I get down, because I just don't trust people. You know what I'm saying? Everyone does not have your best interest at heart. And this situation with Christina Grim definitely is waking a lot of people up, a lot of YouTubers up, and a lot of people who need to realize that sometimes with this fame, with this social media fame, with just being a celebrity, it comes with a lot of pitfalls. It's a double-edged sword. And sometimes those same people who are asking you for autographs, they're not even asking you because they're really a fan of yours or because they even know your work. They're just asking for a picture. They're just asking for an autograph just so they can say that they met you, just so they can say, oh, look what I got from this person, just to rub it into somebody else's face, just so they can possibly sell that autograph. So you have a lot of people out here who are just not genuine. And I think that people need to just really realize that and make sure they have all their T's crossed, all their I's dotted. There was no reason for this young girl to have a meet and greet, and there was barely any security there, to the point where her brother was the one who had to jump in and play hero as opposed to top flight security being there. Her brother could have just as well been killed as well. You know, so the whole situation is really sad, but he's definitely a hero because more people could have lost their lives had he not jumped in. And kudos to Selena Gomez for being a true friend to this girl. You know, Selena Gomez has not only broke down on stage crying, but her stepfather even started a GoFundMe in Christina Grim's name, and they've already raised over $100,000 in less than, you know, just a few days. And that money is going to be donated to her parents and to her brother, you know what I'm saying, to help them out in their time of need. So Selena Gomez has really shown herself to be a true friend to this young girl, you know, so it's just really, really sad how everything went down. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. R.I.P. to Christina Grim. You know what I'm saying? And my heart definitely goes out to her and her family. This whole situation is just tragic, and I just really wish it could have been prevented. So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right. Deuces.
Out and I'm feeling okay. Hope you have a really good day.
Hey you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.